All right, good morning, everyone. You may have heard of the Dirty Dozen before. If you were watching our morning broadcast, you saw Julia Zampano talking about the Dirty Dozen. Mm-hmm. So the fruits and veggies that have the most pesticides on it, right? Well, now we're talking about the Clean 15, which means they have the lowest amount of contamination, which means if you have to maybe get something that's not organic, the Clean 15 would be the area to go,
the
right?
way to go, for sure. Yes.
So being a registered dietitian with the Cleveland Clinic, she knows a thing or two about all of this. And I thank you for being here this morning. So
thanks for having me.
You have some of them in front of us today,
yes.
the Clean 15. So how were they tested? And was this a large study? What was the study like?
Yeah, so every year the Environmental Working Group uses data from the USDA. They take over 47,000 samples of 46 different fruits and vegetables.
Wow.
And they test them for pesticide exposure. So they put out the list of the Dirty Dozen, which are the highest, and the Clean 15, which are the lowest. So when you're grocery shopping, I get the question from my patients all the time. Should I go organic? Should I go fully organic? It's so expensive. It's hard to find.
Yes.
So this answers that question. If you want to choose organic, choose the Dirty Dozen as being organic, and the Clean 15, you don't have to be as concerned with whether it's organic or not.
I follow this religiously, and the Environmental Working Group has this awesome app that you can use I use as well. So let's go through some of them. So corn.
Sweet corn.
Because it has the outer layer of the husk?
Yeah, there's a theme here. So all of these have tough outer skins, or most of them do, which helps protect them from that pesticide exposure. The Dirty Dozen were a lot of the softer fruits, like the berries. So they are more sensitive.
And absorb all of those pesticides that come on them.
Exactly.
Now, what about mushrooms? Because mushrooms don't have that outer, harder shell.
True. I was actually surprised by the mushrooms, but pleased, because they have been listed as a high pesticide in the past. So I was pleased to see that mushrooms were on the list.
And carrots. I didn't realize that surprises me too, the carrots.
They are a little bit of a tougher, vegetable, but still, yeah. But see, these are also nutrient dense. And as for the Dirty Dozen, extremely nutrient dense foods. So we don't ever want someone to avoid eating produce because it may have pesticide exposure or it's a Dirty Dozen if you can't purchase it organic or find it or afford it. The most important thing to keep in mind is that we want to eat as much produce as possible. And if you're going to take it a step further, just look for those Dirty Dozen, clean them properly or look for them organically. And then when you're looking at the Clean 15, you don't have to worry as much as for the pesticide exposure.
Would it be a good rule of thumb, no matter what you have, to always, aside from things like kiwi, or the pineapple, to wash off everything?
I would. I wash off my potatoes. I do tend to rinse everything a couple times, and even sometimes just use my hand to scrub it a little bit. So I think it's very important to keep it clean, for sure.
So I know we have some full screens, so we can I think it's important, we'll go through the total 15 so that you can see. So avocados are in front of us. I'll let you list all of them.
Sweet corn, pineapple, onions, papaya, frozen sweet peas, asparagus, honeydew melon, kiwi, cabbage, watermelon, mushroom, mangoes, sweet potatoes, and carrots.
Now, it's interesting that with the peas, the sweet peas, frozen
versus fresh.
And both were tested.
Yep.
Fresh were not okay. The frozen
were the ones to go. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is really interesting how they determine it, and the amount of samples they took I thought was amazing, that they put so much work into it and really put out the list. And I think it's really important that, we help use these resources, such as the Environmental Working Group, to look at the quality and what we're purchasing, to have ownership in that. Because we know there's a lot of negative health outcomes to some of the additives and pesticides that are on our foods. So you mentioned the app. I think that's a great way to start. They even have a barcode scanner where you can scan the barcode of the box of cereal you're buying and see, how it rates.
And it'll get you. I know there's a lot that's still not registered with the Environmental Working Group, but with the ones who are, it really has helped me because they'll do skincare products, they'll do, household items, not just food. And so it really gets you to think about, wow, the level of toxicity, and it'll even break down. Could it be just allergy related? Could it be cancer related? I think that's so beneficial.
It rates it by number, and it breaks down why it's rated poor or high. So it's really helpful.
So here's, again, a quick look at the ones you can grab. Don't worry about necessarily getting organic. And then again, the Dirty Dozen, the berries are probably the top of the list you mentioned.
The greens, leafy greens, like spinach, kale, collard greens.
Keep that in mind. You can always Google or go to the Environmental Working Group and learn more. But again, you can always go to the Cleveland Clinic and have someone like Julia help you out to really make sure that you're doing what's right and what's best for your body and your family as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you so much.